Thank you for the introduction. And again, this is a project that's in its conceptual phase. We kind of building off a project idea that one of the last speakers in the audience, Mache, who's into the circular economy around bread making, kind of brought this idea to us, to our attention. And then we just applied basically an AI approach to it through a new program from the DFKI and the BMUV here in Germany that's sponsoring this thing called the Green AI Hub. So we've basically started working on a dualistic project, one with a donut company here in Berlin called Brand Bowls Donuts, and then also with a company that helps with food optimization or bread and baked good optimization for bakeries throughout Germany using software that they develop. And this company is called Food Tracks. They're in Munster. And so these are the titles of the two projects we're working with them on. And both are basically trying to optimize the ordering of their products so that they don't overproduce and overwaste bread and baked goods. And so to give you a small agendas, just give you a little background about what our group does here at the DFKI and the DRX team at the UdK, or at the DFKI, and how we're related to the UdK through the DR lab. And then I'll give you a brief overview of our project that we're going to develop with these companies. And we'll go from there. So the DFKI, if you're not aware, is the largest public AI research institution in the world, not just here in Germany or the EU. And we're about 26 research groups. So the group that we're in is the Design Research Explorations group, and we're one of those 26 teams. And if you're not aware, the Design Research Lab, which we're sort of integrated into here at the UdK, is run by Geisha Just, and we are focused on, we're essentially a network of people, organizations, and non-human agents engaged in the intersection of technologies, materials, and social practices. And our aim is to design socially and ecologically sustainable tools, spaces, and knowledge that support people's participation in digital society based on common principles of inclusiveness and respect for the planet. So we have four key themes for our group. So we are focused on projects around design, democracy, and digital sovereignty, sustainability, body and soma, and open tech. So a lot of these projects or ideas you would see in the other BOL room if you're wandering around. So where we fit into the landscape around here in Germany and Berlin is that we're part of the DFKI, but also attached to the UdK, the Einstein Center, and the Weizenbaum Institute. And traditionally, we've done a lot of work with large corporations and third-party funding from the government, but we're now really on the left side there, your right side, trying to work with small to medium-sized enterprises and non-for-profits on working on new project ideas and working with these organizations on taking what we develop on some of the larger funded projects into to help other smaller businesses and other organizations outside of the traditional mega corporations that are kind of traditionally behind the funding at the DFKI. So maybe Aeneas, you could give some background on some of the research we're doing in design and AI and how this kind of leads into the projects that we're doing.
Sure, thanks. So basically, maybe a year ago, something we started more or less a new sort of initiative around the topic of around AI and design. Pretty much, I mean, we've always been a research group of the DFKI, so AI was always sort of a part of it. But facilitated through this kind of push through large language models and other bigger type of models, which are now a little bit more consumer facing and can be experienced by lay people. Basically, we started to push a little bit more for integrating this design and holistic aspect in the development, improvement, and design of such models. language models, but also prediction models, as in this Green AI project, and also other AI related technologies. So the general themes here on a very high level are establishing human-centric AI interactions through design. So in the concrete interactions, like how we interact with large language models and what are the implications of the corresponding specifics, co-creating alternative visions for automation. So AI as a pretty much automating technology, always kind of intertwined with a specific conception of what we want to automate, which is very interesting in terms of some models to automate creativity, which we could also ask why you would want to do that. And then overall, kind of shifting this narrative a little bit more towards design for personal automation rather than top-down automation. So how can AI be useful in people's day-to-day processes to automate what they choose to automate rather than being replaced by AI and automated technologies from top-down and thereby user empowerment, I would say.
Sure. So to build on this, a lot of our current work is about a human-in-the-loop approach. So not just not just designing in a bubble and not just creating large language models or other AI tools in a bubble, but to bring in this human-in-the-loop approach. So, so this is a common theme in how we go about our projects, and kind of building on what Aeneas was just mentioning in terms of how design is being used. We want to put the user at the center of this process for truthfulness, accuracy, and scrutiny, and in how we use AI tools, kind of create individual workflows and inclusive learning journeys, and make sustainable and enjoyable experiences when we design new AI products with our project members. So right now, in terms of the two companies that we're working with on this Green AI Hub project, we're focused on SMEs. So these companies are fairly small. And Brambles Donuts is basically 10 retail stores here, primarily here in Berlin, some in a few stores in Hamburg. And then there's Food Tracks has like 13 members. So they're definitely falling the SME category, which is part of this. This is why they're part of this new initiative by the DFKI and the BNUV to support bringing the DFKI's expertise in AI to help these SMEs solve problems in reducing waste. And in this case, we're trying to reduce food waste. So these are slides that you can find on the Green AI Hub site about what the Green AI Hub is offering the SMEs and where the DFKI comes into play. But I'm just cycling through these quickly to get to the real information, or the more important information about the projects here. So Brambles Donuts, just to give some background, is they're a vegan donut shop that started in 2015, and they basically make every donut fresh every day without preservatives. And because of that, you should eat the donut on the same day, if not immediately the next day afterwards. There's a very small shelf life. And so this company, some of their key problems is that they basically make about 2.5 million donuts a year, and they throw away around 440,000 donuts a year, which is nearly 20% of their donuts produced. And the reason is that there's typically an over-ordering of donuts each day. And several of the reasons that this is the problem is that they do have some Google Sheets with some underlying forecasting going on in the backdrop. It's not terribly sophisticated, but a lot of the times the store managers can change the volume that they want on any given day or a day before that the donuts arrive, because the donuts are made locally in one location and then dispersed to all the different retail stores. And so the issue is that some retail managers are much more adept at reading the numbers or knowing their numbers and predicting the numbers. And so they usually are better forecasters or trust the numbers that the owners of the company provide in terms of ordering. And the owners actually have a good idea of when people are going to order a lot more or need a lot more donuts, because they have a good sense of how weather affects mood and other things like that. But they don't have this in sort of their models in their Google spreadsheets. They just kind of have their own gut feeling as well. And so this whole gut feeling approach has like consequences. Under ordering can really keep people away because they won't buy anything, because if the donut they think they might want, or if they see lack of donuts in the store, they're likely to walk away. And then under ordering has problems because basically the staff will have to go home early so they don't get more working hours if the donuts are already sold out. And then in general, they have unhappy customers. So overordering is the other big problem. Is that's where the food waste comes into play, because then you waste a lot of resources and funds to make donuts that are not sellable. However, there are some approaches that, like Too Good to Go and other things, are helping take the overproduced donuts, but this still results in a lot of overwaste and sales for the company. And so one of the things that we're going to be trying to work with this company on is three things. One is improving the forecasting through different modalities of information. So not just prior sales history, but also looking at weather, events, location, other things like that. But also we're looking at bringing design into our models so that the retail store managers trust the forecasts. So trust in AI and trust in models is actually a big topic across the AI landscape. And so it just happens to also fit into the ordering process of bakeries. And the other thing that we might be looking at is that people have a different mental model when they see trays of stacked donuts versus unfilled trays, but you don't want to overproduce donuts. So we're trying to think about how we might be able to improve the retail store experience to a certain extent from a design perspective, so that people feel encouraged to buy something, but not have to overproduce the donuts. So food tracks, what they do is this small team has already software to help bakeries identify or improve their ordering processes. And so they work with 70 bakeries with essentially 3,000 retail stores across Germany. And they have some data science background and have some algorithms that they use, but they have really kept their sort of algorithms to a very minimal approach. And so they're looking for ways to see if this new state of the art and deep learning can actually help them improve their models. And they're also trying to use design to help their customers get a better sense of, so they have customers on two fronts. They have people who want full automation by something else, and they want some customers who want to have full control over every number of picking every article of food. And they want to have design approaches where people can float between those and make faster decisions when they do this, doing the ordering process. And so, so again, people might be asking, besides improving ordering, why are these companies so interested in this topic? It's because if you look at the larger bread culture around the world and EU and here in Germany, like over 30% of bread is thrown away each day. And that's quite a bit of significant resources, both from materials, but also energy and water. And so this project is perfect for them to try to help their customers improve their resource efficiency. And basically, all the objectives I've kind of already mentioned is that we're basically looking at not only improving AI model or algorithms and models for optimizing store forecasting, but really bringing trust through design into these models, so people feel like they're empowered to make the right decision and not ignore decisions that may come from people who are running the company. And then also, just in general, trying to speed up the process of the enormous task of this ordering process for these companies. And we won't really go into the AI methodology too much, other than that we're doing a lot of time series forecasting and looking at new deep learning approaches that could help aid this process. And this is sort of the work in progress at the moment. And at the end of the day, the goal that we set out for ourselves, or the companies have, is that Ramable's Donuts wants to reduce their donut waste by about 200,000 donuts by improving this forecasting, which would be significant. And then the other food trucks would like to, across the 3,000 plants that they have, reduce about 10% of their organic and biomaterial waste. So I guess the last point is that there's a broader implication for this. So the biggest implication is that baked good companies have a limited amount of data typically. And so if we can make good forecasting models on small amount of data, this could actually be very encouraging for other SMEs that also in other industries that have small amount of data to do these deep learning approaches for optimization. So this is, and then in general, we obviously want to make an impact on a larger, the greater bread and baked good industry. And then the final point is that in terms of the circular economy topic, so Maché, who was here earlier, had mentioned talking about, he's been sitting in on these meetings with Ramable Donuts and saying, and we've been talking about how to reuse that other 30% of donuts or bread that could be wasted and actually doing something useful with it. So we've been speaking with these bread and baked good companies about ways to recycle the bread in a way that, so obviously reducing the waste through forecasting is one way, but then to actually, you can recycle about 20% of all bread back into the bread making process by basically with proper heating and making it biologically safe to reuse. And then there's quite a bit of it of bread that you can actually make into new like new toppings and other things that could go on bread or baked goods so that you can reduce the waste. So there'll never be 100% recycling of bread, but there's a way to actually keep bringing the number down and down and down. And so these are topics that would be followed up beyond this project. So great. So I will hand it back to Michelle here.